Hi everyone. In this video we're going to be covering opposition. And opposition is actually quite essential in the endgame. Without opposition, we cannot really win the game. Okay. Now opposition is between two kings, and only between two kings. We can move our king, for example, in this position to d4. And our kings, everybody, are an equal distance away, one square away from each other. And this is as close as they can get, because our king prevents the opponent's king from going to this square, and to here as well. But the opponent's king also prevents us from going to those squares too. Because of this, everybody, there's a little barrier that prevents the opponent's king from coming closer to us and prevents us from coming closer to the opponent's king. And this is what we call direct opposition. When we're facing the opponent head on, this is direct opposition. Now it can be vertical like this, or it can also be horizontal. So let me show you a horizontal opposition. This is going to be a horizontal opposition. And this is also a direct opposition when there's only one square in between them. And when we are really talking about opposition in the endgame, we are referring to this direct opposition. There are two other types of oppositions as well, but the goal of those oppositions is to get into a direct opposition eventually. Let's talk about the diagonal opposition, for example. For example, everybody in this position, let's say it is white's turn, and white moves the king to d6. Now, between the two kings, there is one square difference, and you can call this diagonal opposition because it is on the diagonal, and the goal of this is to again get into direct opposition. If black moves the king to e8, we can bring our king to e6, and now we have direct opposition, so we can actually win this game as white. This is what we call direct opposition once the kings are on a straight line, but when they are on a diagonal, the goal is to get into the direct opposition. Now let's talk about distant opposition. Distant opposition, as the name implies, the kings are going to be at a distance. For example, everybody, if we bring our kings closer to each other, now white is going to be taking the opposition as we get into the opposition right now. We prevent the opponent's king from advancing to these squares, so that's going to be important. And for example, if black goes to there, we can go over here, and we can try to capture the opponent's pawn. So this is why opposition is very important. I'll show some use cases of opposition right now. In order to win the game, everybody, for example, let's say we have a position like this. In this position, white can try to advance the pawn, and the black king cannot prevent this pawn from moving up because of our king's location. We are making this golden opposition. It's a direct opposition, but it is such a neat feature right now. The opponent's king cannot prevent the pawn from promoting. So this is one of the use cases of the opposition. Another would be, for example, the rook checkmate. Let's say we have the situation right now, and as white we bring the king to e6. If everybody black gets into this opposition right now, our kings will be preventing each other from going to these 3 squares on the 7th rank. Because of this, as white, if we bring the rook to a8, we're going to be doing a check, and the black king has no squares to go to. And as we can see, opposition can be used in the single rook checkmate. It is actually one of those special techniques that we really need to know how to do in order to be successful in the endgame. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.